What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the FTI Podcast. Hopefully this live broadcast works out relatively well without any issues. Of course, there are some issues happening today behind the scenes with more technical difficulties. Seems to be a recurring theme.
Technology working fine until you actually need it.
Yeah, it works perfectly fine the rest of the week, except for right now when I need to use it. But welcome back to the podcast on a Thursday. A little different. I think what we're going to start doing is doing live broadcasts Wednesdays on Facebook, and then we'll upload the video and audio on Fridays or Thursday evenings, and it will be available Fridays for you guys to watch on YouTube and listen to wherever you listen to podcasts. Chris, how are you today?
I am good. I woke up from my daily nap just to sign online with you here. But yeah, pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, minus the technical problems.
Yeah, usually it's me who hasn't started my computer, since we did the podcast the week before. But now that the weather's getting cooler, picking back up on playing some games on the computer. So I had it running this weekend. So hopefully no problems for me here in the coming future, but who knows there.
Yeah, I didn't have any issues, but I'm working off of a computer that doesn't have Wi-Fi naturally. So I'm using a USB Wi-Fi receiver, so that doesn't always work the best. I guess I need to eventually just drop an Ethernet cord to it.
Yeah, that's what I ended up doing with this computer. Just downloading things was taking so long. So, you're trying to download a 30-something gig game and it's taken 8 hours to do. I just got frustrated, and I've had mine hardwired for a few years now. It's definitely worth the pain of setting it up.
Yeah, which I have like an access point above my desk. And,
Yeah.
so I could just put a splitter up there and then run one into the access point, then run one straight down. It will look a little ugly, but or run it over to the wall, and
no one sees that side of the production.
Get a flat one and just run it under my rug.
I don't know. Do they make flat?
Yeah. I have a flat one that's ran the length of my house because my router and everything is in my bedroom closet. On another level on the other side of the house.
Yeah. So. Oh. Yeah, that's no fun. But this week I guess we can start. Did you watch any of Coda? Have I completely reformed you?
I watched some of like practice and stuff just because I was like, we'll check it out. But I mean, it was kind of boring. F1, not exciting at all.
You had Lewis and who else?
Yeah, Lewis and Leclerc. Hamilton and Leclerc getting, post-race penalties. F1 just doing their normal thing of giving people penalties
because their sheet of plywood was
after the podium.
I don't know.
Isn't that bad? I mean, NASCAR gave 7 tech penalties.
I don't know if you saw Jamie Price arguing with everyone on Twitter about it. I will refuse to call it X, so don't get mad if I.
It's Twitter. It will never be X.
But
It's like
Jamie,
we're broadcasting on Facebook, not Meta.
Jamie Price arguing with people on Twitter about whether the Red Bull was sparking in whatever corner, and because he had posted pictures and it was 4 cars sparking, but a lot of people were sharing one of Max going through the same corner and it not sparking, but literally in Jamie's original post was a picture of Max sparking through that corner. And you gotta love the delusional F1 fans just arguing online about something they know nothing about and just making fools of themselves constantly.
Yeah, there's this, and they drive me nuts. But there's this one F1 podcast that's.
Is it the one that they have live clips going? They were like doing a live show.
Yeah,
I've been getting that a lot,
and they're very prevalent on TikTok, and it's probably the most obnoxious guys on it.
Yeah, and they just
and somehow they were interviewing Christian Horner at Coda, and I'm just like,
I've gotten a lot of them over the past year on TikTok, and I don't know if I follow them or not, but yeah, it's.
I definitely don't, but I still get their crap. This week, I swear, no matter what you were liking or looking at on TikTok, it was force feeding F1 content like crazy.
Oh yeah. I mean, any racing stuff. I worked one of my long days on Saturday, and that's all I got all day was just F1 stuff. What FP1 and 2 or whatever from Friday and Saturday was my entire feed all day long.
Yeah, it was just constant, nonstop F1 content. Like, I don't care.
Which I don't understand how. I mean, I know why it's the biggest racing series, or the pinnacle of racing.
Exclusivity.
Yeah, it's the exclusivity. It's the, you'll see a lot of this, especially on Twitter and stuff, when you'll see people arguing about it. The Drive to Survivors, it's only people who watch that and care about that. They have to manufacture drama in it. In the same breath, I'll say NASCAR kind of does the same thing with the playoffs and everything, but at least that's a little more natural than a lot of this stuff that F1 seems to do in the manufactured drama side of things. But yeah, I don't get it. It's the same people turning around, and every video is a Drive to Survive joke. Every video is that who's going to finish second to Max this week. And how is that entertaining to anybody?
I mean, I did find a new I was at Walmart the other day, and I found a new Red Bull t-shirt that they're selling there at Walmart, and it says "Here for the booze." Oh no, that might have been just a Halloween shirt. I thought it was a Max Verstappen shirt.
I was just gonna say, is that how much was that compared to the official merch from Coda?
Oh, it was really cheap.
Weekend?
It was like $10.
I sent you that video Friday of that. I think it was TikTok of prices at the USGP, and $140 for a Red Bull hat. I think this one on my head I paid $25 or $30 for from Sheldon's trailer. And honestly, at certain times of the day, if I would have bought it, I could have got it autographed.
Yeah. And what's really weird to me is they're buying this stuff in massive bulk.
Oh yeah.
So they're getting it very, very wholesale priced. So it's like, why do you need to charge that? And what's really ridiculous is that at the event, they're charging like a premium for it
Yeah, when you can
than
get it
when you can
online.
just get it online. And even with shipping, it would still be cheaper.
Yeah.
It's like, this doesn't make sense. This is the place that you want to sell it so people will wear it,
Yeah,
sell more of it.
I was sitting there and I saw that and I was thinking, I was like, when we went to Indianapolis, I bought that exclusive Kyle Larson shirt, one of 600 they did. That was $30. I bought a hat that was $25. We're at 55 right there. The Noah Gragson Wendy shirt, that was only $20, $15. We'll go with 15 because I know it was on sale. So we're at $70 right there, half the price, and I got two shirts and a hat at that point. For the price they were paying for, they wanted for the exclusive event hat from Red Bull.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's also like I don't drink beer, but I do drink twisted teas. And it is really stupid. The price of things at events is just really dumb. Like $13 for a beer at an event. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, why?
because they
You
can and people will
because
pay it.
idiots will buy it,
Because
and
people paid $300 to $500 for grandstand or GA tickets to go to Coda to bake in the sun to catch a glimpse of the F1 cars going around. Yeah, I just
go to an IndyCar event, go to a NASCAR, go to an IMSA event. Don't waste your time with an F1 event.
go to your local dirt track, go to your local asphalt track.
Yeah, go to Eldora. Don't they have like dollar beer?
Go to all of those combined for the price that you paid for your one
One
F1
F1 ticket.
ticket, and you can have a whole summer worth of fun.
But yeah, I didn't really watch much of it at all. Um, what I did see was extremely boring. It's just
Man, 30 episodes later, who would have thought that, or last year when we started all of this, who would have thought you would have been like, oh, yeah, F1 was in town? I didn't watch any of it.
yeah, and the only one I might watch replays of is probably Vegas or anything from it, just because I want to see
Oh, yeah, I can't
what
even
it.
get on my mom's cable account anymore. I was going to say, maybe I'll turn that on when if I'm awake that night, I'll turn it on. But even
Yeah,
then, I
I
don't.
just want to see what it looks like. I mean, it seems lately that it is looking like it might be a one-time event. Because I think a lot of people in Vegas or
Yeah.
Paradise, technically is what it's called, don't want that there.
I mean, if you've seen anything online about everything, all the trouble it's causing.
Yeah,
Well,
everybody
and then
hates it.
I saw today the culinary union out there is threatening a strike right now. So how funny would that be if this, kind of goes on another couple of weeks, another few weeks, and you can't get food or room service in Vegas for all of these people paying thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to go to this
That
race.
would absolutely. I mean, it would suck for those people, but it would be hilarious.
Because it's one of those things where it's like everything is out in the open about how much people are paying for these ticket prices and these hotel suites and this, that, and the other. And, these people are still getting paid whatever wages. And it's like, hey, We've only spent 6 months listening to how much money you guys are all making off of this and how much money you're paying for this, that, and the other. So pay us.
No offense, but here's my thought. And I'm a very unpopular person when it comes to this. Just because you have to work at this big event doesn't mean you should be paid more.
Well, I think it's just a general thing. It's one of those things where it's like
a one-time event, though. It's one time, one weekend
with
that it's going to happen.
Well,
do they require more when they have a big convention that comes out there?
I think that the culinary union thing, I think it's just like a long overdue thing. I think it's just
this is just their boiling point.
I think it's more or less just a coincidence of the time.
Yeah, all these unions, man,
the contracts
strike nowadays
are probably up, and that's what's happening. So, but yeah, I don't know. I've always thought that would be kind of funny if that happened, because I don't know. Screw F1. You close down this entire city, blocks of this city for weeks on end because your cars have to go through, everything has to be perfectly smooth. They have to repave this, that, and the other, and build these garages and all of this stuff for follow Max Verstappen around the streets for an hour and a half and call it a day.
Do you know it'd be a way better race if IndyCar went to Vegas? That would be a 10 times better race.
There is and
IndyCar is extremely efficient in their street race.
I'd have to find the channel for you. There is a guy on YouTube that does like bad street course races. Of like street courses that have failed in the past, whether it be Indy, F1, IMSA, all of that kind of stuff. And it's a pretty good channel. I pulled it up right now to see if I can find it real quick, but yeah, he does breakdowns on different street courses that all these different series have done over the years, and they're shorter videos too. So, it'll be like a 10-minute video, and he'll go through like all of these different like IndyCar tracks that never really did well. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to find it later and I'll send it to you. But yeah,
still gonna say it. Downtown Cleveland.
Yeah,
Rock and Roll Grand Prix.
Burke Lakefront. It's right there.
Yeah, no, they need to do something more visionary.
IndyCar, bring back Burke Lakefront. It's right there. The 5 wide on the front runway going into turn 1. A couple weeks back, I watched a old race on YouTube and just watched them just fan out on that front stretch runway and going into turn 1. But okay, so speaking of F1, the big controversy this week, track limits, which caused the whole whittled down planks or whatever you want to call it. I know we've argued about this a few times, but have you changed your mind a little bit this year on track limits? Or
I mean, there has to be something. And I know Parker.
I was just going to say,
Kligerman was very adamant in his opinion.
I am team Parker on this one. If it is paved, you can use it. I think it's funny when IndyCar and NASCAR just blow over those, arbitrary lines.
IndyCar doesn't do it as much.
Oh, no.
Especially like when we were at Indianapolis and we had both series running that weekend. And, the corner that I was in at the start of the race, I have no clue what number because their corners are confusing, but it was the Holman Straight.
Yeah.
And the Indy cars come out of that one turn to come onto the Holman Straight. And, they're pretty much not crossing that white line. NASCAR, my lens is all set up ready for the shot. And they're like all over here. The hell are they going? That's not the racetrack. That's the runoff.
If you don't want them to use it, put grass there. I'm Team Parker on this one. If you don't want them to use it, don't.
That's what should be there is grass.
If you don't want them to use it, don't give them the ability to do it. Punish them for it, other than the turtles or the curbing, whatever.
Well, look at tracks like Road America and Mid Ohio. There's no runoff. It's grass. You got grass. You got sand.
That's why you don't get F1.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah, I mean
I don't want them there.
We see, we'll go into kind of our all over the place thing, but we're seeing what the news of the repave at Mid Ohio is bringing us this year. It just seems like
I haven't seen a lot of news on the repave. I figured that a lot of these people on this group are like really crazy. And I figured somebody would sneak up there at this point and like get some pictures of the grinding going on at the track. Which, they have all the equipment there. It was all there this weekend, and they're supposed to start grinding this week, or hopefully they did start already. But hopefully they use some of those grindings to maybe like pave or fix especially over in the parking lot area by the shower house.
Yeah.
In between the shower house and the paddock, where it's just like giant ruts, or maybe the camp roads. That would be nice.
I think they should, and this is just me being like, obviously you see all the background, all the memorabilia behind me. A lot of these like big NASCAR tracks, what they would do is they would cut section of the asphalt up and sell it when they were doing a repave. Think of all the rabid Mid Ohio fans that would want a piece of the asphalt.
I would like that, but I'd rather have nicer, smoother roads riding around there. The outside.
I mean, all you'd have to do is, 100 feet, do 6 by 3 by 6 little sections to sell off for $100 a piece, and you'd have people buying them.
Oh, they would go absolutely insane over those.
Bring in a little bit of funding there.
But it will be nice to see, how the track is next year with the repave. I think it's the same company that did, or it's the same compound.
Yeah, it's the same
Road
aggregate
America.
that Road America.
Yeah,
so I wonder if it's going to be a sheet of ice for like IndyCar and stuff like Road America was this year.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to get a lot more. I mean, it's going to be nice for us. There's going to be a lot more action to shoot.
Wait, what are you talking about? We'll be in the wrong place every time. We're following
I don't know if there will
car.
be a wrong place with the repave. I'm sure at the bottom of 5, there will be lots of cars going off in that section, and like turn 9 like always. But it would be neat to see how the keyhole is with a full repave, not having 2 different surface types with the concrete and the asphalt in that corner. Plus, it would be nice and beautiful black asphalt.
Yeah, words are hard, and I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I mean, it'll be good for us with if it is a slick surface like that. maybe we'll have a little more action shots. Maybe it won't be a little bit of follow the leader, with the leader, just getting out into clean air. But I think that's a little hard in today's age. At least we tend to get a lot of action throughout the pack. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited to see.
It's just a little nerve wracking, especially how this year went with all of the rain
Yeah.
on every weekend. And I know that fresh asphalt with rain is going to be a
It's going to be real
nightmare,
slick.
because I don't think at either of the two tracks that have been repaved in the IndyCar schedule that they had to deal with any kind of rain. I don't think
Yeah.
Road America or Laguna Seca, I think, was the other one that was freshly repaved. Which we did see at both of those tracks, the same issue of there being a really good line, and then you go offline a little bit and there's no rubber, it's just
Slicked
glass.
right up. Yeah, maybe we'll get a NASCAR event back since we're missing one this year. Maybe they'll see how it goes, and
hopefully next year, they do this year, and then hopefully next winter they do some renovations to the garages or something, to bring in
some of these different
IMSA.
series.
I mean, they could really, I'm looking at a picture of the front stretch or the pit stretch, and really they could kind of reprofile that whole area.
Oh yeah.
And, make a lot more room in there. Even if they just change the directions of the garages instead of being all in the front,
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to see. I was last Saturday started my race schedule, and the first big event there is SVRA Vintage with Formula Race Promotions, but also TA2.
Oh, okay. So are they going to
April
have 2 races
26th.
then at Mid-Ohio?
No. Yeah. So I'm really confused on this because SVRA has 2 dates. The first one with Formula Race Promotions, but also I saw announced today TA2. But then in June there's also a vintage SVRA, and I think that's got the big TA.
It's weird. Why wouldn't they just run them both in the same week?
Your guess is as good as mine.
It just seems like a really odd choice.
Yeah, because I looked at the article today because TA2 had announced the schedule, and it doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of sense. But hey, I'm gonna go with it because it's racing. That'll probably be one of the first events we're out at this year. So yeah, let's go for it. Let's it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I'm already dying of not going to the track. I mean, Atomic is racing this weekend. That's the one in Chillicothe, and I literally thought about driving the almost 3 hours down there this weekend.
You're crazy.
But yeah, I'm excited to see all of it, and I think next year's going to be pretty interesting. Especially today, I did the math. If I don't take any more time off this year, I'll have 25 vacation days next year.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so we'll see there. Could be even more racing in and I already told my boss, I was like, hey, I might be taking a lot of Fridays off next year just for all of this stuff. And he's a racing guy, so he understands. And is really good about it. So no worries, not a whole lot of worries there. But moving things along, we're 30 minutes of rambling. Miami this past weekend. Not to parrot what everyone else has said, everyone else in NASCAR media has said, but Miami needs to go back to being the championship race. If we're gonna do this winner take all, one race to decide them all format, we need to go to a track that is a driver's track, is at least a little more entertaining than Phoenix. We're on I think this is year 3 of Phoenix. Let's move it somewhere else next year, even though, Phoenix is on this schedule for the championship race next year. 2025, let's move it somewhere else.
They won't. They probably. Who owns Phoenix?
NASCAR.
NASCAR owns it.
Yeah, but I think NASCAR also owns Miami too, because Miami used to be the championship race. They want it to be. They want Phoenix to be a destination race, which it is. I mean, it sells out fairly early in the year for the championship race, but Miami, I think, would be more of a destination than Phoenix would ever be. I mean, where would you rather go for a vacation, Miami or Phoenix?
Probably Miami.
So, I mean, yeah, send it back to Miami. I mean, yeah, you'd have that. Then you'd have favorites like Larson and, our eventual winner Bell, who are dirt track guys, and they can ride the wall better than anyone else. We saw this weekend when some of these more asphalt background guys run the wall. They don't do well for themselves. A lot of the speculation on Denny's wreck was him hitting the wall and maybe breaking something. Last I heard, though, I think Chris Gabehart, his crew chief, had said that it was most likely from downshifts or shifting. It ripped the wheel out of his hand and he hit the wall. But I mean, I'm always happy to see Denny have problems in the playoffs because I don't want him to be a champion. It was funny. I listened to his podcast this week at work, and he was real salty about it this week. So, it's always good to hear Denny being a little salty about things.
When isn't he?
True. I mean, he even comes. Well, I mean, he's kind of he plays the villain really well. I thought the same about Kyle Busch. I thought Kyle Busch really played the villain well in his time when he was at Toyota. Now he's at Chevrolet, and he's kind of started to come back to the fans. The fans have started to come back to him. But
I think they should run the road course on Miami. It looks pretty interesting.
You'd have to get rid of a road course, though. So which one do you get rid of? Chicago?
Yeah. I mean,
that's if the
that one
Chicago brings
that one
back.
should just go away in general, and they should go back to Road America.
But
or VIR, go somewhere.
And
IndyCar needs to race at more road courses.
IndyCar needs more than a 17 race schedule.
It's despicable.
Speaking of IndyCar, prices for Thermal Club came out last week. Did you see the prices for the GA weekend at Thermal
really
Club?
Damn expensive.
$2,000 a ticket for the 3 days, but lunch is included on the daily.
Ooh,
yeah.
Get a little box lunch.
I mean, come on. I mean, I get it. that is just a made for TV event. That's all that's going to be. I think, like I said, Thermal Club is one of those new like country club racetracks that are popping up everywhere. That, when they first announced it, I thought it was going to be that one that they're building in like between Nashville and Knoxville. That other country club racetrack that's coming sometime in the near future. That I know a few years back there were rumors that, that was going to take Mid-Ohio's date away, is to be at that new place in Tennessee. So
I don't think anything is going to take Mid-Ohio's place away with IndyCar, especially now that they've invested in paving the track. They've been there for quite a few years now, ever since IndyCar became IndyCar. So I don't think they're going to leave, and especially if they keep actually putting money into it. I don't think. And GSR also, having 3 other races that they manage, is pretty good for them as a promoter.
Oh, we got away from the topic, but NASCAR race. You had texted me Sunday or Monday, whenever. Good thing Kyle won last week, because his little excursion, making his own beach. He was in Miami and just had to visit the beach, so he made his own at pit entry there.
Yeah, and people that say that was Blaney's fault are idiots. Yeah.
At first, I will say, watching the live broadcast, and especially if you were listening to the commentators, it 100% looked like Blaney's fault. But, caveat there on the but, Kyle Larson was coming in hot. He was coming in hot.
Yeah, it's just Larson's not a guy that makes a lot of mistakes.
Well, see,
and this was just one of those mistakes that he made. And
Larson and his team have probably thrown away at least 3 or 4 races this year on mistakes like that, little mess ups here or there. But yeah, I think that was just Blaney. He might have been being a little too cautious getting down to pit road speed. I think he slowed down a little quick there. But it was also Kyle's only chance. He makes up that little bit of time on entry on pit road. His team, blows out a third of a second faster pit stop. He's taking the lead, and he's probably just sailing to a win. And we're not talking about what a good race that was this week. But, yeah, if you watch the broadcast, though, I don't blame people for thinking it was Blaney's fault, because the way it looked on TV, because they knew they were coming to pit road, and they're zoomed in on it. Dude, it looked like Blaney crowded him to the outside, slowed way down. The speed difference, it looked like Blaney was coming to a stop. It didn't look on TV. It didn't look like Blaney was, even going to make pit road speed. But yeah, once you kind of look at it, they start playing the replays and stuff. You just like, oh, Kyle was going to make those spots up if he could.
Yeah.
That's just Kyle Larson.
He was on a flyer all day.
Yeah.
And then
that was his one chance. We had seen Blaney in clean air kind of getting away from him. So, Kyle Larson was going to do what Kyle Larson does, and sometimes it doesn't work for him.
Damn, did Blaney have tons to say about everybody on Sunday.
I know he ended up like kind of taking back what he said about Hamlin, but listening to, because I do door bumper clear, and then the tear down, and then sometimes I'll do Denny. This week I had to listen to Denny because I was seeing everything on Twitter about how salty he was. So I listened to all 3 of them this week, and the way Blaney and Denny were racing, I mean, they were racing the pants off each other. They weren't letting each other go. You know, they're two playoff drivers. They're starting on the front row together, and that little battle between them, the two of them not giving each other any ground, is what led to Christopher Bell getting the lead and never looking back. So, you know, in the end, Bell pulls off another clutch victory. Yeah, last year he did it at Martinsville to get himself in the Final Four, and so yeah, we got two sprint car guys in the that have already locked themselves into the championship four.
Yeah, and you know, one race to go and 2 spots remaining. You know, who do we think is going to get into those?
Willie B is
final
pretty much already locked in. I think he'd have to have like an incident like lap 1 for him not to be able to point his way in. You've got both Martin and Denny, who are both so strong at Martinsville. I mean, there's been a joke that they named Martinsville after Martin Truex because he's so good there. Denny, that's his home track, and I don't know if anyone boos louder for Denny than the Martinsville fans. So, yeah, you had his problem with Alex Bowman there a few years ago. I think that's where the original he's just a hack came from, which I have that shirt. Of course I do. But yeah, I think Blaney and Truex are going to have a very interesting week along with Denny. I think you've got Denny and Martin who are both going to be on kill mode this weekend. You know, it's going to be basically win at all costs.
Yeah, and hopefully, you know, Truex doesn't have any more mechanical issues. You know, right now, as it stands, Byron's third in the playoffs, and Blaney's fourth. Reddick's -10, and Truex and Hamlin are -17, and Busher he's
Busher's
-43.
Yeah, Busher's in a must win
out
already. Denny Truex and Reddick, they can point their way in. You know, they probably won't go into must win territory depending on how they go the first and second stage till the third stage. You know, it really just depends on how those first couple stages are going. I think these playoff cars are going to come out strong this weekend. It would be pretty interesting to watch practice and qualifying to see. I'd love NASCAR to really go over these playoff cars with a fine-tooth comb, especially Martin and Denny, because I'd rather not have those two in the championship four.
Yeah. I was just wondering, has there ever been a since they've been doing playoffs, has there ever been a championship playoff race where none of the 4 have won?
Yeah, last year,
okay.
There was many races. Oh, the championship 4, like the championship race.
Yeah, like
no, I don't think so.
Where none of the 4 that are in the playoffs,
I think by the
they
time
all lose.
By the time they get to Phoenix or Miami, and before they moved it to Phoenix, I'm pretty sure the championship 4 every year, and this is just like a big rumor online too. They're cheated up because they tend to just there's always one that's kind of farther behind everyone else, but they all tend to be up front most of the day. It'll probably be a next weekend will probably be just a battle between like Willie B and Kyle all day or something.
Now hear me. 4 cars, 40 laps.
You know how awful that would be?
That would be great. Just don't do it at a track like Phoenix.
How many times have you ran a race when you were a race director and everyone wrecks out and it just ends up being like 6 cars?
Okay, we just take all 16 that were in the original round and only 16 cars, but 60 laps.
But that's the fun challenge of it is there's still competitors you have to deal with. There's still challenges you've got to deal with.
Yeah, there's still people on, who have teammates in the playoffs that can, purposely wreck people out. I'm sure that's.
I don't think that's really happened much
yet. Hasn't happened yet. Could happen.
I don't know. I think in the playoffs they've kind of made it to the point where like you're so afraid of that kind of stuff. Today's like the whatever year anniversary of the Matt Kenseth spinning out Joey Logano in the playoffs, and that was like a big deal. So I think some of like the team order stuff wouldn't really fly as much in NASCAR as it would in maybe other ones.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see, how the Final Four ends up after Martinsville this week. But it has been quite a week in motorsport news. We'll start off here with IndyCar. As even some stuff has just come out today. So earlier in the week, to field, I think the number 30 for RLL, Pietro Fittipaldi was signed on for that car, and I think Christian Rasmussen, what team?
Ed Carpenter.
Ed Carpenter for a few races. I don't think a full season.
Road courses, street courses, and Indy 500. So it's like he's going to miss Milwaukee Mile and
that Iowa. Stupid. Just field him for the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
what are those?
Have the points.
Two other.
And then today, Hunkos Hollinger, stating that they've reached a mutual agreement to cut ties with Callum Ilott. So once you thought the silly season was over, it just keeps on going.
Yeah,
like who could field that spot now? You think Grosjean?
No, I think he's done for.
Like who I don't think it's gonna be Jack Harvey. Could we have another Indy Next driver coming up?
I was gonna make a joke and I can't even think of her name. She drove the DHL car.
Oh, Jamie Chadwick.
Yeah.
I don't think so. She's too far in
Andretti. Yeah, I know. I was just gonna say another disappointing yellow and red DHL car.
I mean, could we see, Hunter McElroy races for Andretti, but that could be a possibility.
I was so confused on your pronunciation there. McElroy.
Is it McElroy?
I was like,
McElroy.
McElroy. Uh yeah. I don't know. Does Romain Grosjean get a third shot somewhere?
Or could we see? It would be nice to see Ernie Francis come up.
Yeah.
It just
I think with his
have some representation in the
with
main
his
series.
I mean, he's been a very consistent driver. He did really well.
He ranked 9th last season
in SRX. He did really well those few years he did SRX. I don't know if he did it this past year, but I know he had done it in other years.
Well, I know I think it's an Indy race promotions or Formula race promotions driver is moving into Indy next.
Well,
I think she was from the F1 Academy. I can't remember her name. So we'll have 2 females running in Indy next year. I do not remember her name, but she's an American.
But yeah, other silly season news. You had Toyota this week in NASCAR lose another young hot prospect in Jesse Love. ARCA Series champion. I think he won just about every race he did this year. I mean, it was one of the Joe Gibbs cars in pretty much every ARCA race winning. So that's 2 big prospects Toyota and Joe Gibbs has lost this year. In Jesse Love, he's moving to the number 2 for RCR, and then Sammy Smith, he'll be driving the number 9 for JRM this year, or number 8. Sorry,
it was Lindsey Brewer.
Oh, okay.
And really bad how I Googled who it was. I did put blonde female driver in, and it came up. So,
but yeah, I mean, Toyota pretty much, it just seems like is they're finding all of the prospects, and then the other manufacturers just snipe them away from Toyota. Toyota just needs to team up with Menards or something and just run Camrys in the ARCA series, and Toyota can just develop all of these drivers, and everyone else can just snipe them off as they go, because Kyle Larson was originally a Toyota driver. I mean, you've got Christopher Bell, who was, years ago slated as the next Kyle Larson, who, after they lost Kyle, they were like, nope, we're not losing this guy. And I mean, you got Bell, who's going to be probably the future of Toyota there. With, it's going to be Bell and Ty Gibbs as the future of JRM there, or JGR. Sorry, not JRM, JGR. Because Martin Truex Jr., he's just a few years away from retirement, and Denny, I mean, he could probably race for a few more years, but he just signed a long-term deal. So you've only got a few more years with those 2, and you just keep losing prospects there.
So, is Christopher Bell won a championship yet?
No.
Or would this be his first?
This would be his first. Yeah, we haven't had a Toyota championship since, I think, 2019, and that was KFB. So, yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention too, I have some notes with Miami. Rich Luscious, our local boy,
Lucius.
I don't know why I always want to say Luscious. It's spelled Luscious.
I was like,
Lucius.
What the hell is that?
Making a Hail Mary call and putting Ben Rhodes in the championship 4. Yeah, they had
did he?
Yeah, they had an
See,
awful
it's
uh,
a match made in heaven.
that, or someone needs to get Rich up to the Cup Series because uh, he left Ben out on 53 lap tires.
Oh, jeez.
And it moved him through the field because Ben had an awful truck all day, and Ben ends up finishing second, and that edges out Nick Sanchez, and you got Ben Rhodes in the Final Four at going into Phoenix next week. They're not racing Martinsville this week, which is a shame. But
yeah, why wouldn't you race the trucks on a short track? That should just be their championship.
Yes, I completely agree. This weirdo
Don't
truck
run them on a track like Phoenix
that we do. But yeah, I think Ben Rhodes is going to be a little dangerous there at Phoenix, and if I'm being selfish,
I hope he wins.
I want him to win.
I want him to win because I want this to prove that they need to stay working together.
Well, I just want another interview.
Yeah, I mean, both of them
Libations
provide
are good.
Great interviews, and you have Corey Haim, Carson Hocevar, Ben Rhodes, and Grant Effinger, and Enfinger, not Effinger. Enfinger. Okay. I don't know these guys' names. I'm just reading them.
You've shot 2 truck races this year.
I don't know these people's names. I know Ben Rhodes' name. That's it.
Carson Hocevar, he'll be in the 42 next year.
He don't need to win a championship. He's already going to NASCAR. He's already going to Cup Series. He don't need to win. Let Ben Rhodes win another. Move him up to the Xfinity Series if he wins.
I think Ben might just be a truck lifer.
Really?
Yeah, which I don't know. You kind of have that's kind of been an identity of the truck series since the beginning, is some of these truck lifers, which I don't know. Ben Rhodes is a big favorite, so hey, let him stay. Not this year, but last year when I shot the truck series, I think Thor Sport had bought out one of the pavilions or something at Mid Ohio, and I mean, I was shooting on the garages like I like to do it, and I mean, I think it was all just Ben Rhodes fans up there. Every time Ben would come by, everyone's pointing, and the guy next to me kept asking me if I got any good shots of Ben Rhodes, and yeah, so I think he's a truck lifer. And
I wonder with Deegan leaving the team, if they're just going to only field 4 trucks or if they're going to keep a 5th driver.
Yeah, I don't know.
And who would fill that 5th seat? Is there anybody that they would, with contracts ending with their team that they would want to pull over, or would they try to find somebody emerging out of ARCA to move up into there? Not that ARCA's a really great feeder series, but
hey, we know who was a Ford driver this year that is looking for a ride next year.
Is he in the middle?
I was just gonna say he might be in the middle.
I mean, I would love to have Frankie Muniz as our local team driver. That would be absolutely amazing. I don't think that's going to happen.
Probably not, but we could.
Damn, that would be amazing. I hope he's in a truck next year, though.
Yeah, truck or Xfinity. I think he's good for the sport, and it's just fun to have him around. But we've kind of beaten around the bush here with the news, but the big news of this week.
Yes.
This
one is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Thank goodness I bought this shirt.
High Limits acquiring the All-Star Series. Lots of rumors going around online.
Yeah, I know Dirt Tracker has been talking about it a lot and even leading up to it. Um and I understand a lot of people are nervous. People are skeptical of what's going to happen with the Ohio Speed Week. Um I and will High Limit run it as yeah, it wouldn't make sense for them to just completely shut it down
Yeah, I
and
don't
just
think.
run one, like just
Yeah, I
buy
don't
out
think.
the series to do nothing with it. I mean, I think the All-Star Circuit of Champions has a good brand identity that unfortunately they're going to squash with High Limit identity. I'm assuming that they'll
Yeah,
put High
I'm really
Limit's name on
curious.
it.
Just the day and age we live in with the internet, where we're getting all our information right away all the time. It makes us impatient on these new big things. We want all the information right away. And I mean, this is kind of
Yeah.
good for us.
Release the damn name already. What are you going to call it?
It gives us something to talk about as the NASCAR season winds down and dirt racing's done like what next week.
Yeah, I think so.
It'll give us something to talk about. But yeah, I am worried about like Ohio Sprint Speed Week because of everything going on this week. All the rumors online and this, that, and the other. I do think that you Dirt Tracker had said this about keeping it separate, where you
Yeah,
have
having
the All Stars and then you also have the midweek High Limits, because that keeps Kyle involved. Kyle's still getting to race because most of your normal all-star stuff is on the weekends. But keeping the two kind of separate. I mean, I saw a lot of stuff about it not being Tezos All Stars. It would be Flow Racing All Stars this weekend
well,
or this
I mean that
past
would
week. But
make
yeah,
sense. I mean,
maybe do it that way of you still have your weekend all-star shows and then you still have your Tuesday or Wednesday night high limit
now
shows.
we're probably going to be losing Brad Sweet from World of Outlaws
Well, yeah, and that was the next
because
big
if you're going to
topic is
own a series, why would you go and race and promote another
that was
series, your
that was a big
main competitor?
topic of, well, who jumps ship is this new all Stars, is it going to be a coast to coast thing where they have a West Coast run? Because for the most part, All Stars is kind of regional to the Midwest. Do they do a West Coast swing? And are the teams going to want to sign up to go to the West Coast that have already been on All Stars? Or do they, does it stay regional where it is the more Midwest thing? Is interesting because I know Kyle is, and I think Brad Sweet, they're both from California.
Yeah, I believe so.
So do they want to make the trek out to their stomping grounds, or do they kind of do an all stars race out there, or not an all stars, a high limits uh race out that way? Um, maybe during the Outlaws swing out that way.
Yeah, they're both from Cal.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, that would make sense. Kyle is married to Brad's sister.
They could meet racing.
But yeah, I'm pretty I think this will definitely give us something to talk about this off season. I don't want Ohio Speed Weeks to go away, because that was one of the things I was thinking about. I mentioned all my vacation time earlier in the episode. Is one of the things I thought about doing this year is just following Speed Weeks.
Yeah, I really hope it doesn't. It really is nice to have that in this region.
Yeah.
Ohio has tons
I mean,
of dirt tracks.
I know on Dirt Tracker he was saying that some of the tracks are already getting together to figure out something for speed weeks.
And
So
but the thing is, High Limits and Larson and Sweet have made it a big deal about supporting the small local tracks. So I don't think it would make sense for them, if that's been their main goal with High Limit, to drop Speed Week, especially when Larson really likes racing at Wayne County. He likes racing at, the Ohio tracks. Um, I don't
yeah,
think it would make sense for them to. I mean, Brad Sweet's pretty good at one of the Ohio tracks too. So,
yeah.
I mean,
Pretty
I don't
sure
think it would
he
make
led
sense.
flag to flag at the last.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what comes of this. I really hope it they kind of keep it the same but do some changes. Maybe bring some more people in. I don't think I don't have much complaints about All Stars, but I really, both of us really just started getting into dirt this year. It's hard to get into dirt if you don't pay for something like Flow Racing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking today, it's like, man, is there a 1 week free trial or something I could get for Dirt Vision so I can watch Outlaws at Charlotte? Because I already don't know what to do with myself right now. But also in those say that same vein, entry lists for the Tulsa Shootout are starting to come out. That's the weekend before weekend before Chili Bowl. And you've got Kyle Busch. He's going to race at the Tulsa
Oh,
Shootout this year. Kyle Busch and Ricky Thornton Jr., dirt late model guy, already starting. And that's how bad would your wife want to kill the two of us if we did a viewing party on New Year's Eve
she would murder us.
for Tulsa Shootout, and then the next week Chili Bowl?
She would kill us.
We would
She would
be
definitely,
we would be confined to the basement forever.
probably, more than
But yeah,
likely.
I was laughing today because I saw the Tulsa Shootout stuff and ended up following them on Twitter, and it's the 26th through the 31st of December. And I was like, oh, God. And it's on Flow Racing. And I was like, oh, Kyle's wife would kill us if we decided we were going to watch that on New Year's Eve. Which,
I don't think she would be very happy about that.
if you guys are doing anything for New Year's Eve, count me out because I'll be watching the Tulsa Shootout.
I have no clue yet what our plans are. I know for this weekend we're trying to go out and enjoy the Halloween festivities. Um, that should be fun. But speaking of festivities, before we forget, we have to wish somebody a happy birthday. And I looked; he's 29 today, and it's Mr. Daniel Burkhart,
Our
friend of the show, and he will be our guest next Wednesday. Our first guest on the show. He was gonna try to make it this week, but I told him, don't worry about it. It's your birthday.
Yeah.
Do whatever the hell you want. You can come on any other time.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had posted a TikTok of a video I had made at Wayne County the week of dirt blowout. He commented like, wow, this is awesome. And it was like, well, I mean, he was literally, I don't know how he found a picture. I mean, him and I have a bunch of mutual friends, so it might have been just coincidence. but he was the first driver from Wayne County that happened to find pictures I had posted from Wayne County, and he was the first one to share it. And that was what, mid-August or something. And since then, the Wayne County racers and families have just blown our stuff up every time we post. So,
oh yeah, I gotta give a major shout out to all the people at Wayne County this season. Supporting us and reaching out and everything. And with holidays coming up, what is a perfect gift for the race car driver at your local track, but a picture from motorsportsohio.com.
Speaking of which, not so much that, but I had posted a fun TikTok to my personal account this week that I was afraid to post to our Ohio Motorsports or FTI one because I was afraid they were a little divisive. Let me tell you, 4-cylinder guys are very passionate about their 4-cylinder racing. It's the trend of, I guess, the videos from Diary of a Wimpy Kid of kids poorly singing a song, and then one comes in and sings the song great. It has 25 comments at the time. All just on TikTok. There's also comments on Instagram reels and stuff. There are so many people who hate sprint cars. And there was a couple people who commented, that is why everyone stays for the 4-cylinders after the sprint cars are done. Guys, that's just your family and friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the 4-cylinders because that's what those are my favorite cars in general, is little 4-bangers. I'm a Honda guy.
It's also probably the only thing we could afford.
Yeah, it's the only thing we could afford to do. But I'll say this: no one races harder than a 4-cylinder guy.
Oh no, even
no one,
even asphalt one. I mean, those
no
are the
one
ones
races
digging in the hardest.
Than harder than a 4-cylinder. But I wanted to comment this because, like I said, it's got 25 comments on TikTok, and then how many on Facebook? Only 5 comments on or Instagram. But people are very passionate about their favorite class in racing. You'll have a lot. Late models are better. Mods are the best. Super mods are the best. No one races harder than 4-cylinders, and it's just
you all race hard equally. You all do a really good job. Okay.
I mean, it's so funny because I have
to make one for each one. So
yes, I was
I
was half tempted the other day
ego a little bit
to do that. Saturday when I sat at work forever, I was ready to do that, of just make one for every class and
share them to all their friends and
see which one got the most likes. But it's so funny. I mean, last week when I posted this was the popular template on TikTok. It is by far, of all our pages, one of the most popular pieces of media we have put out. It has 743 likes on TikTok and 773 likes on Instagram. So 1,400 likes total of this stupid video I made in 5 minutes at 6 a.m. Thursday or Friday morning.
Well, look, the simplest ones are always the ones that blow up. Look at the Donnie Schatz one that just exploded, and it's the dumbest thing ever. Or just the Larson one.
On
anything
TikTok,
Kyle Larson just blows up.
This thing has almost 10,000 views.
Oh my God.
And it's literally just the stupidest video. I have gained it's been about a week, 50 followers from this.
Holy shit.
And I posted that video of Burkhart. That was like, my pride and joy at the moment, something I was kind of working on. I'm trying to like move into video. That has 773 views and 41 likes.
Yeah, but TikTok always pushes the more divisive things, and the more comments, the more it gets pushed. And
yeah, it's.
But I will tell you, late model guys, no, you're not, because every freaking race,
the
last few races,
that was
an
another
hour long, because
comment.
You guys can't stop wrecking.
That
You're
was
like asphalt modified.
That was some of the comments I was getting to, is like, where I go, mods can't do a single lap without someone spinning out. Street stocks at Volusia put on a show every now and then, but late models are where it's at. Just all kinds of, and then this might be the most boomer comment I've ever gotten on anything. And I thought this was just like an online myth of the weird boomer things that, they say on the internet, but I'm still trying to figure out what this comment was, because it was the first comment on the video. This was 6 days ago. I think I got this comment maybe within the first hour of posting the video. Race car backwards is race car, and race car upside down is expensive. If you don't get it, I have flipped a go-kart on my first race. Cap locks those on my first race.
Good job.
That was
congratulations.
The first comment, and I was so confused. So confused, because I had nothing.
It's not hard to flip a go-kart on dirt. I've seen it happen right in front of me on track. A competitor flipping over, and then me slamming on the brakes, trying not to hit him, and just spinning around in circles.
Yeah, I could not believe, like I said, almost 10,000 views. It's still just, I mean, every once in a while I'll open TikTok and it's just people go. I think they're, this coming year, get a little more into some of the video stuff. I'm on TikTok enough with my work that I'm trying to like follow the trends and like think of videos as soon as I put them out, or as soon as like the trends are going. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But that also, I had some interest in doing videos next year for competitors. One of the problems is going to be trying to split time between that and pictures, because I don't want to give up pictures, but trying to do videos with pictures and stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be, well, we can always work together.
Yeah, we don't need to really take the same pictures.
Yeah,
in the same
I've always
corner.
thought that. I was like, we're just taking the same damn thing. Like, especially at these oval races, at the road courses, we don't really.
I do have to say, at Dirt Blowout, we got really good at separating.
Yeah, and even at World of Outlaws at Sharon,
yeah,
we kind of
didn't see each other all night.
Yeah, really.
It was like between races, the three of us, our buddy Joe was there, would convene, and then as soon as a car came out on track, we just separated.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, I mean, we were just like a couple feet apart. And
you might as well have been standing on. I should have just put you up on my shoulders to get a better.
That'd be an interesting shot. I don't think the safety people would like it, but
hey, that guy at Wayne was laying on the ground, and. But yeah, you got anything else this week?
I think that's it. Hopefully we'll have some good stuff on from NASCAR, and we won't be talking about that too much, because we will have Daniel Burkhart on, our first guest, so that will be really exciting. But make sure to check us out on Facebook live next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Hopefully no technical difficulties. But that's all I got.
That's all I got.
All right. We'll see you next week, guys.
See you next week.